the clinical psychologist, was explaining a few things, and Ms. Etrat Zara was the host, and you had the other panelists over here. But like, flash break, anything can happen. Predictions are difficult. Right now we have a guest, in fact two of them from England. One of them is from UK, and the other one, in fact, it has so happened that we have had these psychiatrists over here, and we wanted them to be with you on Willing Ways Forum, and I would like them to introduce themselves to you. First of all, I have the gentleman right here from UK.
Sure.
He's a psychiatrist. Please, and your good name is, sir?
Okay. My name is Joseph Marr. Do I look at you or look at the camera?
Sir, whichever way.
Fine. All right. I'll look at the camera. My name is Joseph Marr. I'm a consultant psychiatrist working in Leeds in dual diagnosis. That's the combination of addictions with mental illness. I've been working in addictions for decades, I'm afraid. Decades. I'm originally, however, from Ireland.
Ireland.
Originally from Ireland. I had to get that in somehow. Yeah.
That's good. We like people from Ireland.
Yeah, well, I think you do actually.
And the good lady over here, please, would you introduce yourself?
My name is Meher Hussain. I'm a psychiatrist, general adult psychiatrist, and I've been working in addiction for many years. I work in Liverpool, originally from Manchester. So I'm visiting Pakistan for a few days on a conference.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And we have Ms. Muqaddas here.
Yes.
She's joining us, and Dr. Ali, he's a psychiatrist. He has recently, in fact today, he has joined Willing Ways, and Madam Uzma Sadakat, the clinical psychologist. First of all, I would like to ask you, sir, that how come you're in Pakistan, and like she was explaining, there's a conference going on. So what was the conference? What was the mainstay of your visit here? And moreover, it's good to have you here in Willing Ways.
Right.
And how was your interaction over here? I've put in a lot of questions into
I'll
one.
take them one at a time. Don't worry, I'll remember. All right. I'm here because of PIL, which is the Pakistan Institute of Living and Learning, has invited us to come, a group of us to come and introduce ourselves as much as anything else. And I think to start forming a collaboration between the UK and Pakistan, and to develop the mutual links that I think are essential for the progress of psychiatry in general. Pakistan has fantastic potential in terms of research in particular, and PIL is primarily focused around research, but research with the potential for delivery of, I think, significant social change. So the conference, which I was referring to, is a combination of PIL plus SACHI, which is not, as was pointed out last night, a publicity organisation, but is the South Asia Self-Harm Initiative, our anti-self-harm initiative. And the combination of those two together invited us over, and we're particularly interested at the moment in self-harm and suicide reduction. Suicide reduction, obviously. And my background, my particular background, obviously, is in addictions and dual diagnosis, but the field also covers a whole range of other areas, from essentially from birth to death. And death other than from suicide, may I say, from old age. And we're really, I think, really privileged to be here. I'm tremendously excited by what's going on, and may I say, very, very impressed.
I'm glad about that. And how come your introduction to Willing Ways? And
Willing Ways, the last part, I actually forgot the other. Right, we've had a wonderful organisation of our tour, and Willing Ways is part of the tour, and I'm really genuinely surprised first of all.
Pleasantly?
Yeah, very pleasantly surprised, and quite challenged actually as well, a little bit. I think that perhaps for the viewers, the system, the treatment system in the UK, to some extent, is lagging behind what's available here. I think
it's quite different.
It's quite different
because we've got very strict guidelines that we have to follow, and we work for NHS, so the private sector is not that prominent over there. So it was a very educational trip for
Yeah.
us. I did want to learn a lot from here, and then so if there is a change in policies or what we
Yeah.
want to, I did want to have a look here and see what can be done better, because we do learn from each other.
Absolutely.
As Joseph was saying, PIL is a research-based thing, but we do a lot of capacity building as well, training our staff, and they're doing some wonderful work. And we do a lot of work in collaboration with different countries as well. So this was a very good opportunity. I did
Yep.
want to have a look as to, although the setups are different. I was running a private detox unit in England, but obviously because of the guidelines and the things, it's quite different. So it is a very good opportunity to
Yep.
learn
Yes.
how.
Dr. Meher, I would like to ask you first, and then Dr. over here. Like in England, the problem about drug addiction might be rampant over there as well, like in our society
Yes,
in Pakistan. You know, if you push things under the carpet, that doesn't mean that they're not there.
No.
And with the strict guidelines, obviously, actually, what they want is that people should not be harmed. But then there are so many patients who won't come into the treatment centers because of the strict guidelines. Now you're talking about like visiting Willing Ways, and this is a private setup, and we are catering to the people who are among the elites, and you know, even those strata who are at the helm of the affairs, and you name it, like politicians, judges, pilots, doctors, all those. They are afflicted with this problem.
Yes.
Families are also afflicted
Absolutely.
with these problems.
Yes. Absolutely.
Now, having had a look here and having a look at the society as well, and then coming from UK, having a look at their psychiatric system, how would you compare the two, and what would you like us to learn from there, and what would you like to take home? First, this question is for you, and then
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, there are stark differences, and I would say there are wonderful things that actually UK should learn from here. Because of the social setup here, I mean, we keep on complaining about the bad things that we have, but we need to really look at our good points. Because of the family system, because of the religious influence, we have these protective factors which need to be kept in view, which over there we don't have. So every individual, majority of them are fending for themselves over there.
right.
There's vast acceptance of drugs. They don't even consider alcohol or cannabis a drug, while I consider even cigarette and tea a drug.
Right.
So there is that difference.
It affects the neurotransmitters.
Absolutely. And what we have to, it's a very tolerant society, which is very good.
In a
But
way,
in a way. But in certain things we have to have
certain limitations.
and really giving awareness to people. Well, everything is not too good. When you say you're going cannabis, actually when I'm interviewing them, when you ask for drugs, you have to ask separately about cannabis, because it's not even considered a drug there.
Okay.
So, and that I feel is the gateway to most of the drugs over there.
Thank you
Would you
very
agree
much.
with
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
Joseph?
It's now for you.
Right. Well, let me
Your
take the
input,
flip.
please.
Okay. Let me put the flip side of the argument here. I mean, I agree with actually everything in there completely. You know, I think particularly this is somewhat, not entirely, but there's somewhat decline in the social fabric in the UK and Europe in general, and that's partly because it's a much older society demographically than here. This is a young society, lots of young people.
Absolutely.
The average age in the UK and Western Europe is actually much older, and this is a baby boom generation that's coming through, and they have a particular social ethos that went through with the baby boom generation. It is not the case that that will necessarily be part of the society as that generation passes on
Absolutely.
through the system. The next
Totally.
generations will be potentially quite different.
Fine.
However, however all of that is true, the NHS, for all its faults, and there are many, at least offers free healthcare to everyone.
Great.
You know, and I think that if you were to straightway and ask British people, what is it that they most admire about the health service, and the British love their health service, right? They absolutely love their health service. It's because of this sense of absolute fairness and equality, and everybody is
That
in.
I totally agree.
Now, I totally accept that, you know, people who are in the elite in this society have particular needs and so forth, and I accept all of that. And I think Willing Ways is a fantastic setup, and I'm really, really impressed. Right, I'm genuinely really impressed. The one thing, the one background thought is to do with this sense of it being open to the UK. Maybe the treatment isn't as good even, but at least everybody gets it.
Yeah.
And I think there's something noble and fine and good and decent about that.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I wish we could talk at length even more, and I would definitely like if Dr. Ali and Madam Uzma could ask a few questions, but I know that your plane is ready for you.
Very close to it,
If we
yes.
hold you back, you might, I hope not, miss the flight. So thank you.
There are worse things that could happen to me by missing the flight.
Thank you very much for being
It's
here.
been a
Thank
pleasure.
you very much, although it was short, but it was sweet talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Have a great visit.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.